I'm Jennifer, and welcome to my library. I'm a mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. Today, I have a reading vlog. It's Wednesday, and I tried to start this yesterday, but I think my microphone, she did. So hopefully you can hear me okay. This week I'm trying some random manga. I got 3 random manga from my library, completely random. I went into my Libby app, I sorted it by random, and I found one manga series, so I got the first issue of that, and then I did the next one. So I have 3 different manga to read. I have started to read one, which is Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. This is all about this girl. She's been kidnapped. She's a princess. She's been kidnapped by a demon king, and she is living in the demon castle as a prisoner. And all she wants to do is sleep. And they're like making it hard for her. And so she has been trying to make like a cozy bed for herself. I do not know how this will carry over beyond 1 volume, but I am having a fun time. I'm about halfway through that. I also got Komi Can't Communicate, which I have heard before. I've seen it on, I think, Netflix or something as a recommendation. That's what that looks like. I have no idea what this is about. And then I have Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, which I have never heard of at all. So that's what this looks like. I am also reading an audiobook from my library. I have been reading Unmasking Autism by Devon Price. And I've been gobbling this one up. I've been finding it super interesting. I've been finding it very relatable. And I'm just really loving learning more about autism. I watched a lot of videos about autism by autistic people. I hadn't heard this before though, and I actually really related to it. And it's this idea of like going along with things and not really feeling like you have agency when you're like highly masked, not making decisions for yourself, like not being a self. I don't even know how to describe it, but like I really understood in the moment that it had applied to me very much when I was younger, especially in college. And it also helps me understand why I had such a hard time. I've always been interested in creative writing and writing short stories and novels, but I did have a really hard time with characters and creating a character. And I took a creative writing elective when I was in college. I went to school for engineering, so I didn't do like a lot of writing classes, but I did do a few of them. And I had a really hard time with writing like an authentic story specifically because my characters just seemed to be going along with things and to not have any input, not to have any agency, basically. Like they didn't make the decisions, they just went along with it and reacted. I found that feedback really difficult because like the characters were based off of me and also like how I just imagine people are. And I just was like, I don't understand how to do anything else. And clearly, as I got older, I developed myself much more, and I do make decisions for myself, and I don't just like go along with what other people are like putting forth for me. I'd never thought about that before. especially in relation to autism. Something else that I really related to that maybe I kind of heard about was like a disconnect from the like physical body and feeling like a level of detachment from the body. And there was a statement of like how autistic people can like imagine themselves. For me, one of the most relaxing thoughts is like imagining that I'm like a sphere in like geometric space, like not like space, like outer space, but just like I am a shape, like a mathematical shape in mathematical space. In saying that to other people, they were kind of like, what? But apparently that's at least somewhat relatable to some autistic people. So there's definitely been things that I'm getting out of it that I didn't get out of, just like fully binging so many autistic creators' videos about what autism looks like in different people and what it doesn't look like perhaps in other people and all that. It's been an experience. Every time I dive into the whole autism thing, like it brings up memories, and like some of them are a little bit painful, and also just like my current situation and who I am and how I'm trying just trying to be human and like having a hard time with some things. It can be like a little too much to like research about that, especially if I'm not in like a very good place in other ways. That's Unmasking Autism. It's been a whole thing. And then the last book, I've barely been reading this. I read the first chapter. That's Below Stairs by Margaret Powell. This is the memoirs of a kitchen maid from the 1920s. And this is like my physical book for the week. I also got some book mail today. I got some exciting book mail. I've ordered a few books that I read previously, and I really wanted copies of them. I finally got a copy of Moon of the Crusted Snow. I've been wanting this for quite some time, since I read it last year. And I'm so happy to have it now. Now I think I'm gonna have an Easy Mac and like disconnect a little bit. To be perfectly honest, I hear a high-pitched like electronic noise from over here, and I have to put my headphones in. I'm going crazy right now. I'm shutting down. Goodbye. Hello, it is Thursday morning. My dog's whining because she thinks I'm gonna give her a peach. I'm not gonna give her a peach. I wanted to share with you all today this little itty bitty peach because it's the very first, oh, there's a worm. It's big too. Do you see that? I gotta go kick it out. Should still be okay to eat. Sorry, that was a little disturbing. This is the very first peach I've gotten out of the peach tree that grew from my compost bin. And I'm very excited. It flowered a little bit and one peach grew. So next year more peaches will grow. But this is the very first taste of a pit-grown peach from my yard. Similar to the one that I did just recently. Of all the peaches that I've grown, I don't think this is my favorite. I don't know why, it just tastes a little weird. I don't know how to describe it. It definitely has like a peach flavor, but it also has just kind of like a flat flavor on top. I think this would be really good in a salsa. It was like maybe more of a savory kind of peach. Because yeah, it almost tastes more like a tomato. I don't know how else to talk about it. The flavors in my tree that fruited for the first year in the front yard, and also the quantity of peaches on the tree in the front yard. Oh my god. Even though the peaches are small, They're so flavorful. And that one's more of like a white peach. This one's obviously a yellow peach. But the cool thing about this tree, compared to the others, is that it puts off like a lot of sap. And so when bugs like crawl into it, like really exudes a lot of sap compared to the one in the front yard, which basically doesn't do that at all. So I've been finding that really interesting. A little disappointing. We'll try again next year and see if it's any better. Anyway, now I'm gonna go to work. I have been reading Unmasking Autism in the morning. Still really enjoying that. It's still making me think a lot. I was told yesterday by a coworker that I have a distinctive walk, and that I definitely have a distinctive walk. And I've been telling myself that I don't. So that was a little bit jarring. Apparently not masking very well. So goodbye. I'm so tired. It's after my working day, and I finished reading Unmasking Autism today. It brought up a whole bunch of different things that were interesting to think about. Also, sorry, we have a crunching boy below and a crunching girl over here, and there's a lot of crunching. They're eating. I will be eating shortly. Overall thoughts, I really did like it quite a lot. Definitely think that I would be happy to read quite a bit more works about autism. I'm still, for myself, I'm not diagnosed. I think I'm autistic. I don't know if I'm going to go through the diagnosis process. I don't know if I want to be diagnosed. It's been very helpful thinking about what it means if I'm an autistic person, and like how can I change my situation to make it more helpful for me. I definitely myself think it very, very, very difficult to think of myself as disabled at all. Like, I am successfully an engineer with a job, and I own a house, and I have a husband. Like, those aspects of my life are, like, the external facing things are all doing well. I do find a lot of the things about how I am to be a benefit to me. And then, like, the things that I fucking struggle with so much, I, like, just don't really value those things to a huge degree. And I've, like, I guess learned to cope with the way that I am in ways that I don't feel like this great loss. Although I do definitely feel like the world is quite oppressive in general. The arbitrary working environment, like the things that we do arbitrarily to control people within the workforce. Like, being a worker is quite hard for me. Reconciling that we do certain things that are not good for people for no reason at all. Those things really get to me. And yet I still find it hard to consider myself disabled. So I guess I did really like the interpretation of, like, disability has to do with the society that you're in, and you can be within a society that is, like, not even accommodating, but, like, centered around how you are different from other people, and that then you are no longer disabled in that society. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The thing that I actually feel like makes me a disabled person is that I cannot eat soy, which means I can barely eat anything that's processed and available at cafeterias, restaurants, packaged foods. That has such a bigger impact on my daily life. Just the fact that I can't eat almost anything is so much more impactful to me. Well, I don't know about than autism, but who knows? Am I disabled? I don't know. I have book mail. Oh, yes! 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 Oh my god, it's huge! Oh my god. This is Strange Interlude by Eugene O'Neill. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Yes. Oh, it's old. It's so old. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. Oh, I am so pleased. Oh. It smells kind of bad. It's so damaged on the back. Wow. Oh my god. I am so happy. Oh, I loved Strange Interlude. I already tried to buy Strange Interlude once, and I think it was Strange. It might have been Olympia. There's a whole bunch of books that I read that were in the public domain that I've tried to find copies of, and they're just like not like actively in print by like a nice publisher. They're like maybe in print by like print on demand. Those books are horrible. One of my favorite characters from last year was Nina from Strange Interlude. Oh my god, it's crazy how big it is. It is a long play. I'm in need of some sort of Apothecary Diaries fix, so I think I'm gonna work on my fan fiction today. I will probably edit chapter 6 to get it ready to be able to post up next week. I think I can do that today, and I might start on the next chapter, but I have to brainstorm what my next step is going to be, because I finished up a mini arc. So like the Apothecary Diaries and light novels, I am propelling the story forward through mysteries. So far, I guess I've done 3. 1, a longer arc, and then 2, quite a bit shorter. So I need to come up with something else that's going to happen on the road as they're traveling and just keep the plot progressing, basically. I have been making vinegar. This is my cherry plum and like a very small amount of blackberry vinegar. And after they had been fermenting for quite some time, you know, like they turn into alcohol and then it turns into vinegar, I put some rosemary, just 1 sprig of rosemary in with all of the fruits, and it smells pretty good. I think without the rosemary, this would maybe not smell that good. So this is my plum vinegar, and I will probably filter it one more time because it is quite opaque. Yes, I'm very happy with this. My first year having apricots, we actually had a huge harvest of apricots here my first year, and I made some apricot vinegar, and that was by far the most flavorful, best tasting vinegar I ever made. It is Friday morning and I'm about to head out to work, but I wanted to give an update about my reading. This morning I started reading Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. I'm having a good time. It's set in San Francisco, which has been quite fun. A movie that in adulthood I found and like extremely enjoyed is Hackers. It's such a silly, fun world, and this is kind of scratching that itch. Quite long though, which you all know, I tend to read shorter books. So I'm having a fun time with that. And then I've been reading this Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, and he has now created his bucket list, at least to some extent. I really, really enjoyed this. I don't know if I've talked to you about the plot. It's about a Japanese salary worker who hates his job for 3 years. He has been working this job that just drains his life out of him completely. He works really long hours. It's soul crushing. And then a zombie apocalypse happens, and he finds so much freedom and joy out of being able to live without having to go to work anymore. I really, really enjoy this. My anxiety last night was pretty crazy. I don't know. I woke up at like 3 in the morning, just freaking out. So I'm pretty stressed out recently and not having a great time. But it's Friday, so it'll all chill after today. So it's the end of the day on Friday, and my eye just started, like, you know, leaking, like super irritated. So I think I need to take my makeup off. I had like 4 whole GD cups of coffee today, and I'm absolutely dead. So I have basically been rotting for the last couple hours. I officially finished reading that zombie manga last night, and this morning I think I'm gonna start on Komi Can't Communicate. I cleaned my entire living room last night. Isn't he so cute? Can you believe this guy was just on my roof as a kitten, waiting to become a terrible tomcat? Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He's so cute. Oh my god. Hello. Sorry, getting a lot of like reflected light from cars across the street. Hello. I need to take a shower desperately. That's point number 1 that I gotta do today. Point number 2, I gotta clean my bedroom. Gotta sweep up a bit and do some laundry and that kind of thing. So I gotta do like a full clean of the bedroom. Reading wise, I read an entire book yesterday. I read Apothecary Diaries Volume 9 and loved it. Loved Volume 9. I know that Jinshi is such a conflicting character for people in general. One can make arguments about consent and all of that. I don't really think he's like exactly like a good person, right? Like he definitely has flaws, and the way he's been raised has been like a little weird, and all of the circumstances around him is a little weird. But he is such an interesting character, in my opinion. He just desperately wants to take control of his situation to like chaotic degrees sometimes, and I just really like that. I really like that about him. This kind of wraps up, I guess, some of his decisions from the last light novel, which were insane. We get to hang out a little bit more. It's more Jinshi heavy, which I definitely enjoy because I just like him so much as a character. I finished reading a manga. Does anybody else find it so hard to navigate on their Kindles? I'm like an idiot when it comes to like pushing the right part of the screen without the pages turning. This is what I finished. This is Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. I might continue on with this. It's so silly. Oh, there's like one whole issue that's like weirdly like very like sexual innuendo, and like she looks like so young and she acts so immature, and she's like completely unaware of this like sexual innuendo stuff that she's doing. And that made me feel super weird about it, actually. So I don't know if it goes more in that direction. If it does, then I don't know if this is for me. It's very silly. It feels very youthful to me. That's part of the reason why I was so weirded out by it. It's just this princess who's been captured by a demon king. She's a prisoner in his castle, and she's just trying to get a good night's rest. And there's all these things going against her, so she's resourceful in figuring out how to fix her sleeping situation. And I just don't understand how that's going to carry over for more than one volume, and so that's why I am a little bit curious how this series continues on. I've started on Komi Can't Communicate by Tomohito Oda, and this is cute so far. There's this boy who is starting at this school, and there's this girl who him and other people presumably think is really beautiful. And she doesn't speak aloud. She has a really hard time speaking, and so they have like their introductory conversations on like a whiteboard or a blackboard. And that is very cute, and I'm not like super locked in yet, but I can imagine it going that way. So that's my reading for today. What I did yesterday I read that entire book, and I also did some dishes and stuff like that. I did some chores, but I also filmed a lot, and that was like most of what I did yesterday. Also went grocery shopping. I did paint my nails, and I feel like it looks like the like sorrel tint that they do in Apothecary Diaries when Mao Mao's trying to distract her father, get him off kilter a little bit. So, but anyway, I gotta take a shower and I gotta clean, and I think I'm gonna continue reading Little Brother while I'm cleaning today. I just went on a total diversion reading the Apothecary Diaries because I have an absolute voracious appetite for Apothecary Diaries, and I really felt like I needed like some like comforting yesterday. I've been very, very stressed out, so I just wanted to like sink into that a little bit. Shower achievement unlocked. Now I'm gonna grab some sheets and blankets from outside and bring them inside because they were drying on the line, and this little guy loves having a fuzzy blanket. I forgot that I need to eat, so I need to eat before I start doing like a lot of chores, otherwise I'm gonna fall apart. I'm already feeling pretty bad, so I'm gonna eat some food. I'm wearing the exact same thing as I wore yesterday. Let me do like a little outfit show off, because I made this. It's like a super, super mini dress and or a shirt. I wear shorts under it because it's too short for this world. But I sewed it using old fabric from my great-grandma. This is knit. Let me show the bottom. Pretty cute, right? I made a black bean, feta cheese, and black olive salad with balsamic dressing and oregano. How do we feel about this ambiance? It's the end of Sunday. Going to work tomorrow. I did a few things today. I ended up going to buy a bathing suit because I only have like, I don't know, 7, 8-year-old bathing suits at this point in my life, and they're all like really low quality and really skimpy. So I got a bathing suit. For that, I also ended up going to a thrift store. I got a stack of books, and I got the outfit that I'm wearing right now, which I will show in a moment. So that was the vibe for today. You know how my shelves were looking pretty good? Manageable. They now look like this. With the clothes and the books that I got, it ended up being like 30 bucks, which is a pretty good deal. Because I think the clothes combined was 10 bucks. Go to thrift stores, especially if you want to bulk up your classics collection. I did 2 videos about my classics. If you really want classics, go to thrift stores. They have tons of classics. Despite my goal of reading the books that I own, I have started reading Apothecary Diaries Volume 10 instead of reading Little Brother at all. this weekend. All I've read are books that I don't own. You can judge me if you want. Good morning. I'm having cherry pie with whipped cream, and I'm having a coffee. I have today off because I'm taking my husband to the doctor. I am planning on having lots of reading material for when I'm sitting and waiting. This morning, I also finished reading Komi Can't Communicate by Tomohito Oda. I think this is cute, but I don't think I'm going to continue on with it. I don't know what about it. I'm having I just don't want to spend my time on it. So I think the only one that I am going to continue on from the manga that I sampled this week is, I already returned it to the library, but the Zom 100. I really enjoyed that, so I think I'm going to continue on with that. I did also read an entire manga. This is the biggest problem with the Apothecary Diaries for me, is that I find it so utterly bingeable that I finish it incredibly quickly. So I read volume 2 of the manga already. I don't know if it was shorter than other manga or what, because the 3 other manga that I read took me several days to get through. This one I just plowed straight through it, read it basically beginning to end. And I felt like it went by in a flash, so I'm already done with that. The waiting time for getting these books from the library is so much longer than what it takes for me to read them. So what I'm planning to bring with me into the doctor's office, Below Stairs, Memoirs of a Kitchen Maid by Margaret Powell, Weasels in the Attic by Hiroko Oyamada, and The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. These are what I'm planning to bring just because they're short. I feel like I'm going to get bored of this, so then I'll switch to this, and if I get bored of that, then I'll switch to this. That's basically the plan. So it's the end of the day. I feel super wiped out, but I did want to update that I read quite a lot of Weasels in the Attic, and then I also started reading a book from NetGalley called, I think it's called Island of Last Things. The Island of Last Things. I'm only on page 13, but it's very, very interesting so far. There is a zoo on Alcatraz, and it seems like they have a lot of last of their species kinds of animals. My dog's eating food, so if you hear her crunching, that's her. I don't think I updated about this. I finished reading Weasels in the Attic yesterday. A bit of a weird one. So previously I read The Factory by Hiroko Oyamada, and I loved it. It's told by this guy. Basically, he has these interactions with some friends. They're kind of around this guy, Psyche. So the first chapter is about this friend, Urabe, who previously owned an aquarium store, like a fish store. And so there's all this fish imagery. And then the next chapter is about the friend, Psyche, who had taken him to visit Urabe in the first chapter. So Psyche has a new house. It's an old house, though, in the country. And they visit him in the country. There's a story that his wife tells about weasels. The last chapter, our main character and his wife, they go visit the friend Psyche and his wife again after they have had a baby. It does have a lot of this baby caretaking theme and imagery. Kind of the ends of each section has a bit of a poignancy about it. The imagery was so interesting to me, and that's the main thing that I got out of this, was just really compelling ambiance. But as a cohesive story, very unsettling and weird. Not a new favorite, but very interesting, and It's not like I don't recommend it, but I just don't really know who I would recommend this to. I'm so excited because I'm gonna eat a pupusa. I'm gonna eat a pupusa, and then I'm gonna have a slice of pie with whipped cream. I have been continuing on with Apothecary Diaries Volume 10. Really enjoying that. I posted my chapter 6 of my Apothecary Diaries and Hyrule Tears of the Kingdom crossover fanfiction. I posted chapter 6 to Archive of Our Own yesterday, and I got some really lovely comments today. Okay, good morning. Sorry it's a little dark. Anyway, I just finished reading this book, Little Brother, this morning by Cory Doctorow. I feel like I've read something else by Cory Doctorow before. Oh my god, I read In Real Life. That's what I read. It was a graphic novel. I don't really remember it super well, but I did read that. So I finished reading this. It's very long. This is a YA. It's been a while since I've read a YA. I think if there's one thing about YA that's like a little weird to read as an adult, there's like this really big weight of importance on like the works themselves for like, I don't know, it's like everybody's trying to be like super influential to teenagers. Being a teenager is really important to you when you're a teenager, and it is like one of the things that you really remember throughout your life is like the formative years and all that. But I do think it's a little weird sometimes when we're like, this is so important. That was one thing that was a little weird about reading this, but I think that's more aligned with just YA in general. So I mentioned that I was pretty excited to read this because I like the movie Hackers. This is about a bunch of hackers. I think if you do like hackers that you would like this. There is a lot of material in this that is relevant and pertinent to hacking and cryptography and surveillance and stuff like that. So that was pretty fun. Sorry, I was just looking at this bird, and also my cat is doing the little chittering noises. There's also like a lot to do with our rights in the Constitution. I'm 31. I was in 3rd grade during 9/11, and my brother joined the Air Force in 2001. But he did that before 9/11. He was in basic training when that happened. It was like fairly impactful. Obviously I'm from the West Coast, so no personal connection to anything about the actual terrorist attack, but the impact on, or the potential impact on my brother's future was like on the mind. I don't think people who were not alive during that time will like really fully understand how afraid and hateful people were in the US during that time. I've seen through my own schoolwork and my sister's schoolwork when we were doing like anthologies of class writings. A lot of it was like kill terrorists, basically. It was like really wild. That stuff all kind of came up with this book because basically there's a really, really huge terrorist attack in San Francisco. Also loved that this was set in San Francisco. I do definitely have a fondness for that city. So anyway, all of that to say that this definitely brought up a bunch of memories and thoughts and stuff from that time when I was a kid. Can't say I like loved it. I don't think this was like for me as a romantic interest. That was all just like total BS to me. I'm glad I finished it and I get to take a super thick book off of my shelf and put it over there. It's officially the weekend. Oh, hello. Sorry, my bangs at least look kind of crazy. Let's get my hair out and see what that looks like. A little bit better. And I'm also very orange because my curtains are red. I guess maybe I'm pink. But anyway, hello. I did, in fact, finally finish reading the volume of Aria that I was reading. Still really enjoy Arya. Still super cute. Having a wonderful time with it. It does make me a little bit nostalgic for my time in Italy. I went on a little bit of an adventure today. I went to some natural springs. It was so cool. It really felt like I was in like Zelda, either at like Hateno Village or like Goron Springs. Yeah, and then I got to swim around a little bit, which was also quite fun because I have not swam in a really long time. And I'm not that great at breathing anymore. When I do like touristy stuff in like my general area, I do start to look at things through a Japanese tourism lens. I just can't help but think about how these places would be treated if it were Japan. So I spent a month as an intern in Japan. Most of it was in a small rural town. I did touristy stuff every weekend. And so I went to a whole bunch of different spots. I went to like Nagoya and Nara. Well, I did go to Tokyo as well. So I went to a whole bunch of different spots. I thought about this before with the redwoods here, visiting the redwoods. If it was in Japan, there would be a train. Like there would be a train station. You'd be able to get to the redwoods. And then there would be like just a little bit more infrastructure. I feel like we just don't have the infrastructure. Not like we're lacking in tourism at all in California. Obviously, we have like loads and loads of tourism. Where I went today, if it were in Japan, it would be, again, a lot more hullabaloo and supported. But I could be totally wrong and mistaken. My experience in Japan was very limited, but sometimes I do think about what it would be like at certain places if it were treated like it was Japan. There are actually like some mascots for this place, and it's like, oh, you would get like maybe like a little plushie or like a bookmark or something. There'd be like a tiny little store where you could get some stuff. That's the vlog. That's what I got for you this time. I don't even know what all I read. I feel like I read a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing and liking the video. I'll be back again soon.